What's up? Hi from Winter Haven. Alice, what's up from Orlando? Amorim, how you doing? Hi, Joan Benitez. What's up from Kissimmee? Magalay, how are you doing? All right, so let's get right into it because that's what you're on here watching for, not to listen to me talk to you about my life. All right, so alerts. Currently, tropical storm warning in red, tropical storm watch in yellow for both West Central Florida and the Florida Keys. I do think that we are going to have an upgrade to this, and I do think we'll see this expanded. And this is going to be our first storm probably of many this year. So as of tonight, tropical storm watches for Lake County, Sumter County, back towards Citrus County, and then down to the Tampa area. Everywhere in yellow is a tropical storm watch. What's up from Edgewater, Laura? Hi from Ocala, Dawn. Titusville, Harry, how you doing? Brooksville, Citrus County, Jazz. Flights canceled yet, Joan? Not that I know of, but there probably will be many. What's up, Lisa from Ocala? Hi, Corrine. Corcoran, you're one of my loyal followers from Ocala. How you doing? What's up from Tennessee? Gene, hi from Ocala. Amanda, Cape Canaveral, Tim Rudder. What's up, Tim? So tomorrow, these will be expanded east. I fully expect Orlando, Ocala, all the way to the East Coast to be under tropical storm watches and eventually tropical storm warnings. We may end up seeing our immediate West Coast under hurricane watches by the time this comes. So Sunday's the day. Is this the worst storm to ever hit Florida? No. But it's going to be an impactful one. And in some ways, and I'm not saying this to talk it up, I'm just trying to tell you how I see it, plain Jane and straight to the point. I think that many of you will feel this Sunday, especially if you live Orlando and West, and go, wow, that was pretty good for a tropical storm. I think this is going to play a lot more than you might think for the typical tropical storm because of the rain that's going to fall, how fast it's going to develop, because it's not like we've seen this thing for days. It's going to form at the 11th hour right off the coast. This is a late blooming storm out there. So all day Sunday for Central Florida, an enhanced tornado risk. I actually think the tornado risk is probably the greatest thing for us because the atmosphere will be primed more than it normally is in a tropical system for us because this will be happening in the afternoon when there's more heating. Gusts everywhere, 50 plus. So is this a big wind maker? No. I mean, there's going to be some power outages. That's a bet. Around Orlando, all of Central Florida, there'll be some power outages, but not mass power outages. So gusts to 50 plus. Sunday afternoon and evening, there'll be tropical rains and flooding. I do think in some spots 10 plus inches of rain will occur. Not everywhere, but I do think some spots double-digit rain is likely. Hi from Wedgefield. Hi from Oviedo. Carrie, keep watching. Oh, my mom's watching. Hi, Mom. Love you. What's up, Deanna? How you doing? Silver Springs, Ellen, Kissimmee, Lake County, Maria, Four Corners, Rich Lay. What's up, Rich? If you wouldn't mind, put a comment question here. I'll answer whatever you got. We're also on our YouTube channel. What's up, Winter Springs, Donna? How you doing? So a couple of things. The track is still tricky. The longer it's over water, the stronger it is. I've said this for days. I'm going to keep saying it. I still think that this has a real chance of being a hurricane, which is above the current forecast from the Hurricane Center. The close return to Florida means weaker, but that's looking a lot less likely. And I still confidently think a hurricane is possible. So here's what this looks like tonight. And I got to be honest with you. It's got the look. Some systems got it, some don't, when they're in this embryonic stage. Now, is this going to be a Cat 4 Ian level storm that comes across Florida? No. But again, it's a very late blooming storm. I think some people, which is part of why I'm on here, might catch you off guard because it's not like we've been showing pictures and satellites for this for days on your social media and the TV and online. It's not going to really look like something until even later tomorrow. But notice as the sun is setting, this is the visible satellite, tons of lightning by the Cayman Islands. And look at the billowing cumulus clouds, burst of convection here, burst of convection here. This is Cuba right there. So as of the 8 o'clock advisory, it's got winds of 30 moving west-northwest at 16. Pressure is coming down, but still over 1,000 millibars. But the idea here is this center looks like it's forming south of Cuba. The center is somewhere probably going to take shape just south of the island. There's no low-level center yet, but there's going to be. Now, a couple of things. What's up, all of our Facebook followers? Appreciate you on here and our YouTube. Let me show you and draw on here a couple of things, because there's a couple of things. I don't mean to turn my shoulder to you. I just want to get my handy-dandy drawer on here. So a couple of things to look at. First of all, there's Florida. There's Cuba, Bahamas. And we've got a lot to point out on here. So first, let me show you this. Let me get this centered up so I can draw on it. So a couple of things. Number one, if you watch as I play this back again, there is a very broad circulation. There's a mid-level low, but not a low at the ocean surface yet. That's going to form. Very big convection on the north side. Sometimes all this convection in this manner up here can help to prevent the center from forming at the low levels, but the models, to be honest, have done a poor job with this, because the last few days it looked like the center was going to try to form up here and then come into Florida weaker because it'd have less time over the Gulf. That don't look likely anymore. What looks much more likely is that because this is south of Cuba, the center is probably somewhere in here. The center in there is going to emerge over Cuba tomorrow, and then it's going to spend longer over the Gulf, and I think probably become a hurricane, probably a Category 1. I wouldn't rule out Cat 2. I think Cat 3 is probably off the books. It's not going to have that amount of time, but I think at this point a hurricane is likely, and then we'll come in somewhere up here, then cut across the state like that. So the idea here is what's changed is it's going to spend more time over the water here as opposed to cutting in like that, which is what it looked like over the last few days. The water in this box is not, it's actually 92 off of Cedar Key, it's 90 plus off of Tampa, so it's rocket fuel for tropical cyclone genesis. There's nothing holding this back from becoming a hurricane other than the time spent over water, if that's honest to you. It makes sense because there's no dust, there's no wind shear. The only thing holding this, if this was going towards New Orleans, it would be a major hurricane easily, because the Gulf is open for business, at least as of right now. So here's the latest cone. Let me show you that. And then we're going to take a break in a second, and I'm going to show you all of the modeling. We've got some new models that just came out that show the Central Florida impact, and I'll break it down county by county and town by town. So a couple of things. First, the Hurricane Center has moved the center. Notice this line here, how it was up here, and then the last advisory, they relocated where the center is, south of the island. And if this happens to take a route like this, that certainly means a lot stronger of a storm. But by tomorrow at noon to 2, it's off the coast of Cuba, officially becomes a tropical depression if it doesn't before then. And then we're off to the races, becoming a tropical storm. So here's Tampa Bay, here's Tampa. By 2 in the afternoon Sunday, a strengthening tropical storm. But again, I think this intensity will come up as we get closer. And the Hurricane Center has said this, that the intensity is the most tricky thing, and if anything, it's going to go up as we get closer. Now again, this is not going to be an Ian level. It goes to Cat 4. This is not that. We're hardy. Floridians can handle a tropical storm Cat 1. But again, this is going to be more than what you might think for just a tropical storm or Cat 1. And I'm going to show you why in the modeling coming up in a few minutes. But a landfall probably somewhere, I really don't think it's going to go left of this line. Remember, the cone tells you where the center may go. If I had to put my money on it, I would say the landfall is going to be from Cedar Key to like the north end of Tampa Bay. Somewhere between my fingers is where the landfall will be. I have a really hard time thinking it's going to go this far north. I think probably somewhere for Cedar Key, maybe splitting Gainesville and Ocala, and then south of Jacksonville. Hurricane Center's got it a little further north from there. And the reason why I think that is because the steering is so weak. I have a hard time thinking this is going to hook in any direction quickly. But it's going to, once it starts turning, I just think it'll keep going on the turning it's doing as it goes forward. So it wouldn't shock me if this gets upgraded to a Category 1. Then from there, there'll be a lot of impacts. This is going to be a very impactful tropical storm or probably hurricane where coastal Carolinas get hit. This is 2 Wednesday, still a tropical storm or hurricane. So if you're traveling next week, if you got vacation plans, there will be a lot of air impacts to Charlotte, Charleston, Hatteras, even up into South Jersey in New England. There's some guidance that tries to shoot this up to Cape Cod towards the end of next week, which would be obviously a big impact to New England, but we're not focused on that for right now. So that's the latest official forecast. Now here's the cone from the Hurricane Center with the latest spaghetti modeling. So each pink line on here is a different tropical model, and there's a couple of things I want to bring to your attention. By the way, don't forget we're on Fox Local, we're on our website, fox35orlando.com, and we're on Facebook and YouTube. And I want to see some of your questions. So real quick, those of you who are on our Fox Local platform, we're going to take a quick break, but for the rest of y'all, we're going to keep going. So Fox Local, we'll see you back in 2 minutes. All right, so welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us. Okay, let's talk some more data. So we're back here. Sorry, we lost some of you on our on our Facebook feed. So those of you who saw that on Facebook, we just have a little break that goes on our website and our streaming platform. So back to what I was showing you. So here's the cone. Let me go back and reload this for you. So I want to show you the uncertainty that exists with this forecast. So in this cone, that's the official Hurricane Center forecast. Each line is a tropical model. And notice there's some that take this to the Space Coast. There's some that go up to Palm Coast. There's some that go over Ocala. And there's some that are one or two that it's even west of Cedar Key. The further over the water it stays, the stronger it gets. If these two out of here verified, we could even talk about a high-end Category 1. Wouldn't even shock me if a low-end Cat 2 hurricane. If it comes in south of Bradenton, it probably is only going to get to tropical storm strength. If it comes in somewhere in here, maybe Category 1 strength. Up here, probably Cat 1. Wouldn't rule out a Cat 2. And then down here, tropical storm. But you can notice the spread. Each of these lines has a big impact in the rain, in the tornado risk. If the storm were to go way out here, you're talking a lot less rain for places like Melbourne, the Space Coast, Volusia County, Seminole, Orange County. The consensus of the modeling is somewhere between Gainesville and about Clearmont, which that would give a healthy amount of rain to Central Florida. So let me show you a couple of guidance. This is our Fox model. Now, something about this I want you to notice is tomorrow's quiet regardless. There's not going to really be much tomorrow. What's up, Kirk? How you doing? You're flying into Tampa tomorrow. You should be good tomorrow in Tampa, but I don't know if you're flying back. Traveling to Davenport tomorrow. Jessica, oh yeah, you're good. You're good tomorrow, my friend. What's up from DeLand, Pamela? How you doing? Hi, Rosie. Hi from Port St. Lucie, Wally. What's up? So tomorrow's good. Now, I want you to notice our Fox model. Here's the center right here. And I want you to notice the center comes in over Tampa Bay. So our Fox model is interestingly quite a bit south of what I think will happen. But notice here's 8 a.m. Sunday. So there's the center of Tropical Storm Debbie, probably in this case. So a strong, strengthening tropical storm. There will be a storm surge into Tampa Bay of a few feet. And Tampa Bay floods so easily, there will be flooding there, especially with this. But here comes the center. And notice how the center, actually, did this just update on me? This might be my updated model. I didn't see it yet. Ooh, it is. Wow, look at that. Okay, so y'all get my live reaction. So what I'm referring to is our models, and any weather model updates a different amount of times per day. It runs and recalculates. And our Fox model runs 4 times a day. So about every 8 hours is when we get it. 7 hours or so. And I want you to notice what's changed. So this is the first I'm seeing this. So earlier, our Fox model had this come in by Fort Myers. Now it comes up, interestingly, watch this, it parallels the coast. This is probably a hurricane at this point. I'd have to look in the model, but this right here, that's the center. And notice it's even a little earlier. So last several hours, it looked like the rain bands would start Sunday afternoon. Now, it looks like the timing of the outer bands has shifted earlier. So as soon as mid to late morning Sunday, the outer bands are coming across, and these would be the ones that could produce tornadoes. These, and especially these connected towards the circulation. Wow, that's an interesting scenario. Wow. Wow, that's interesting. So why I'm kind of surprised is if you saw that, heck, let me just do this manually so you can see it. That's really interesting. So if you look, let me leave this about like that. If you look here what this is doing, this is actually really interesting. I'm going to show you what I mean. It parallels the storm on the coast and then comes in. Look at that. See the center out there? Watch. And then that's a really interesting scenario, because if that were to happen, this thing theoretically could keep strengthening all the way up, get to hurricane strength, and still give us the most amount of impact. So that's a really interesting scenario. I don't know if that's how that would actually play out. I have a hard time thinking this is going to parallel the coast and then go right. So maybe I don't fully agree with how this plays out, and I'll show you another model in a second. But the point is, Sunday, your 6 a.m., outer bands come in during the morning. Regardless, I think the peak of the weather is the second half of Sunday. So here's 1 p.m., 2, and then here comes the deluge of rain. Notice here's 5 Sunday. So here's the center of the hurricane. Probably in this case would be Category 1 that comes in. Center of it is in southern Alachua County. And then look at all of these bands that are feeding off of the storm. So there's the center, and then you see band here, band here, band here, band here. Because the steering flow is the way it is in the atmosphere Sunday night, these bands behind the system, behind Debbie, will just sit and park themselves for hours. And where they do, that's where there could be significant flooding. And I stand by, this is not going to be a big, damaging, destructive wind tropical system for Florida. This is a flood first, then tornado threat storm. I want to make that crystal clear to you. For us in Central Florida, flooding, very heavy rain, tornadoes. Those are the things to be cognizant of and mindful of. Could there be some power outages? Yeah, but in these bands that just sit here, it wouldn't shock me if there was 10, 12, 13, 14 inches of rain in spots. And notice too, these bands that set up, these would be the ones that produce tornadoes. You see a little cell there, little cell here, little cell over Orlando at 5, little cell down here, all these cells, all these cells, all of these little bands could be rotating, producing tornadoes. And because this will be coinciding with the mid-afternoon, you might think this is crazy, but even through all this cloud cover, you still get solar radiation that heat the earth through clouds, even on a cloudy day. So we're gonna have the outer bands of this over Central Florida when the atmosphere is its hottest and most humid with all that wind shear, which is why I personally think there will be a lot of tornado warnings in all of these outer bands. Tornado warning, tornado warning, tornado warning. Probably at some point there probably will be many at the same time Sunday evening. Now, tornadoes and tropical systems, they're often brief. They move very fast. They're not long-lived. We're not talking EF4 tornadoes. I lived in Paducah, Kentucky before this, so trust me, I'm very aware of what tornadoes are after experiencing and forecasting an EF4. These are not them. These are EF0, EF1, occasionally EF2, but they're on the ground for minutes. They form fast, they move fast. Obviously, it's a big deal if they hit your house. because they can do damage. But that's the idea with tropical tornadoes. And I'm going to move this out a little bit more in time so I can play this model for you. Yeah, so this is our Fox model. Notice the rain is still going. Wow, look at all that. Into 2 o'clock in the morning. So that's our exclusive Fox model, which I got to be honest, that's a really interesting scenario. While I have it pulled up, let me just switch over to the rain and show you. See if I can get the rain on here. So I'm really doing this rough around the edges for you. Let's see what it shows for rain. Yeah, so notice the Fox model places the bulk of the rain, the villages, Ocala, down to Tampa, Dade City. But again, notice the rain is going to be right along and east of the track. Because see, in this case, those of you in Brevard, you're scratching the side of your head saying, the heck was all this talk about? It didn't do anything. So that's going to be something we don't know until 10 hours before. See, there was the track, there was all the rain. Some of the models take that this way, some of it take it this way, but regardless, there is going to be this big swath of 6 to 12 inches of rain somewhere. And you can see on our Fox model some of these totals that are popped up. You see here, here's 9, here's 7, over in Orlando, 4. So there's our Fox model. Let me show you now some other things quick. So here is the tornado potential with the track. Remember, the most amount of tornadoes with a tropical system occur on the east side. So notice with our model here, all of these colors indicate storms that could be rotating. The brighter the color, the higher the spin potential. And notice east of the center, in fact, very favorable conditions for spin-up tornadoes. You see very high colors there east of the center. Notice how left of the track, there's no colors popping up because that's not really where you find tornadoes in a tropical system. So in terms of Debbie that comes in east of the track, certainly tornadoes are going to be possible. And I do think especially along the east coast where there's more enhanced wind change with the Atlantic side, a little bit more enhanced tornado potential Sunday afternoon into Sunday evening. So let me show you quickly the storm surge potential because I'm running out of time. So on the west coast in yellow, 3 to 6 foot surge from Fort Myers up to Cedar Key. South of Fort Myers, it goes down less than 3 feet. So there will be a storm surge with this. At least the current forecast is 3 to 6 feet on the west side of the state as this comes in. Let me show you the wind gust potential with our Fox model. See if it updated. Oh, it did. Good. So here you go quickly. So here's Sunday. Play this. Notice the winds. Here we go. Notice 50 plus, fair game, area wide. There's the center. There would be the center. There's the center at noon on Sunday. Comes across. So certainly any flights Sunday, MCO, Tampa. I don't work for the airport. I'm not a pilot. I'm a meteorologist. But just knowing what I know, I would say if you're flying or you have people scheduled to fly, unless it's early, you're probably not flying. There probably is not a lot of flights other than early in the morning Sunday, I would presume. And notice the gusts there, you see 50 plus. Could there be a few 60? I mean, so is this an epic wind maker? Not major, but it's decent wind for sure with Debbie as it comes in. So let me show you quickly our Barron computer model. Which I want you to see how this one does a little bit different with all of this. So this is our Barron computer model, and notice how you see the center, it's a little bit further south. There would be the center, 7 o'clock Sunday. We can keep going on our Facebook, Josh, yes or no, or just as Fox Local? Okay, yeah. So we're going to stop on our Fox Local platform coming up here in a few seconds. So if you're watching on your smart TV, thank you for watching. So I tell you what, we're going to talk much more about this on the news at 10. So I want you to watch us tonight, Fox 35 at 10. I will show you the rest of this coming up in a few minutes.